I want to talk for a second about dealing with overwhelm and what really matters. Okay. So when you're thinking about reinventing, rediscovering, recharging, going in a totally different direction, or just figuring out, hey, what's next? Look, it can be overwhelming because oftentimes it's not just one thing. It might just be, oh, it's my relationship. Oh, it's my career. It might be self-esteem. It could be anything. But oftentimes when you're starting to grow, it feels like everything's happening at once. And so where do you start? Where do you begin? And that was a question I've gotten from a lot of people that I coach is, where do I begin? Because there's so many different things that I want to change in my life or to improve upon. So that's just it. What are, the three phrases I was going to talk about are this. I use big rocks, okay? And big rocks are just that. What are the big rocks that you have to move to be able to really get any traction? We've talked about traction. What are the big rocks, the things that really matter? Not the small pebbles, but the big ones that really count. Other phrases you can use are the 8-ball, okay? Like in pool, if you play pool, there's a lot of balls on there, but only one that if you screw it up, if you put it in the pocket before everything's ready, you lose the game, right? It's the 8-ball. You put that somewhere, it's over. Glass balls are another one. People talk about this. You're juggling a lot of different balls. You're juggling tennis balls, but among those 3 balls there, you have one glass ball. And if you drop it and it breaks, it can't be fixed. The place to start is this. What is the most important thing to me? Would you like a relationship? Sure, that'd be great. But are you really ready for it? Is it really the main thing? Or is it something that has to do with feeling better about yourself and how you show up? Because, relationship-wise, you can't love anybody or expect to be loved until you love yourself and get that shit under control right there. What if it's a career? What if it's like, I just don't like where I'm at right now. I've been in the same thing, the same rut, the same people, the same house, the same city for 20 plus years, and I want a fresh start. I have a clean slate. It's important for me to do that and find out where that is. And I got divorced. A whirlwind of things going through my mind, of career, of kids, of place, of dating, of all of this, of, will I ever be attractive again? All these different things are going through. And that's just like 4 or 5 quick ones out of the probably 30 that were going in there. And I had to think about this. I didn't know where to start. Or I had, each of them sound appealing, but each of them also scared the shit out of me because what if I dropped it? And there were some things that just, a friend of mine really shared this whole big rock idea with me. And he goes, what are the big ones? What are the ones that are really going to matter most now? That are going to not only make you feel good, but going to change your life. And for me, at that time, it's different for everybody and different for whatever stage you're at. It had nothing to do with finding a relationship. Did I want one? Sure. I'd been in a 16-year loveless marriage. I was ready to roll, but really I wasn't. I didn't get divorced to go party or anything like that. I left not having any other option. I just wanted a better life for me and my kids. But it wasn't relationships. It wasn't even career. It was, I wanted, the big rocks were my kids. For me at the time, it was my kids. Of being able to make sure that they were happy, they were safe, there was some sort of continuity, and that they had a home, not the being shuffled back and forth between mom and dad, and mom got to keep the big ass house and dad is going to be off somewhere else. And to me, the big rock was making them feel whole. Okay? Nothing else mattered. And it would not just the kids, but having a home they could be proud of. All right? And that wasn't mean like, oh, go get an apartment or something. It was, how are you going to do this so that they feel important? They were the biggest rocks. Because if that crumbled, everything else crumbled. It didn't matter how many dates I had or anything like that. It's different for you, okay? It's different for everybody. But before, knowing where to start is prioritizing what are your big rocks. What matters most to you? What will fall apart, okay? What is irreparable if you let it slide, okay? What is going to bring you the greatest source of satisfaction, of progress. What is going to lead you towards the life that you want? Life, lifestyle, person, anything. Those are the big rocks. And all too often, we become overwhelmed, or we take our eye off of what the biggest rocks are. Everything's important. It all matters. It doesn't all matter, right? Everything is important and nothing's important at the same time. There's only a handful of things that are the biggest rocks. What you may have thought was a big rock in the past, or what you may have given attention to, or devotion to, or put in place of everything else, may not be a big rock today. Because we're talking about you and about what you're doing in your life right now. Many of us may have devoted years to a company, a career, a person, a child, or whatever. And now they're flying. That's okay. It's your turn. This is not necessarily about creating a new rock. It might be. It very well might be for some of you. It might be something that is new in your life that you think, no, that is important. That is what I want to do. That is the biggest thing. Awesome. It can be something brand new and creative. Sometimes, for a lot of us, rather than, I talked a moment ago about hanging on to old ones, and sometimes you should let those go because they really become pebbles. They kind of got broken up. But sometimes we've forgotten what those big rocks are. In our pursuit of everything, of taking care of everybody else, or chasing every loose end and squirrel out there, we lose sight of what the most important rocks are. Sometimes that's ourselves. Sometimes it is our health. Sometimes it's certain types of relationships. The other thing is this. What you may have thought in the past was a big rock, or have given attention to something that you felt was a major priority, might not be so anymore. So really take a hard look at what's most important. What is that big rock for you right now? Look, we've all done it. We spent years thinking that a career was the biggest rock, or maybe even a child or a family member or a relationship was the biggest rock. And we've spent time, effort, energy, heart in that. And at the time, it might have been. But that doesn't mean it is the big rock right now. This whole program, this whole time is really for you. And it may be. What each of you wants is different. But that's the thing. Just because you've given attention to something and deemed it a big rock, that magic 8-ball in the past, doesn't mean it's that anymore. So take a hard look at, does it really matter now, at this point in time, for you and for what you truly want? What you to do is seriously think about that. I don't care what analogy you use, whether you use big rocks, whether you use the glass ball, if you're trying to juggle things, if you're using the 8-ball, whatever it is. But what is that thing, that one thing, maybe 2 or 3 things that matter the most to you right now, okay? And it can be that are the most important, or it could be, what is the thing that is going to really make a big difference in me and that I can change, that I can control. That's it, that requires my care and feeding, my attention, okay? That. It could be your health. It could be a particular relationship or set of relationships. It could be your career. It could be an achievement of, like I said before, make sure that you have, for me, it was a home that my kids were going to be proud of, okay? What is it for you? Because that's where you start, right there. That is when everything goes foul, when you have too many other distractions, when you're feeling uncertain, uneasy, unsure, you look and go, oh, no, that, okay? Focus back on that, okay? None of the other stuff, we tend to get too worked up about different things, okay? And not to say they don't matter, but they just might not matter right now, okay? So what are your big rocks? Okay? And once you figure that out, it may come very simply to you. It may just be a refocus. All right? We lose sight of them. Okay? They may have been there all along. It's not like you have to discover these things. And quite frankly, they're probably there right in front of you. And maybe you've overlooked them. Have you forgotten your big rocks? Okay? That's it. Have you been chasing other things? So, and it may be something that is important that has just kind of come to the surface. But what is the one thing that is going to be your needle mover or your driver, your North Star?